Bobby.
Oh boy, boy, oh boy.
So they have, we have been very complimentary of them with a little, I don't want to say smoke and mirrors because Luka's played great. Austin Reeves has played great. They've gotten good production up and down the lineup, but we have talked during the season about how their record is like the best possible scenario because their defense is not the defense of a team that is, top three in the West. They've just been awesome on offense and particularly great in the clutch. I think they're 8-0 in games that go to clutch play. And, the idea here is they get up to speed with LeBron, like they start powering up. But if you're looking for a reason, and, you don't make any definitive things, if you're looking for a reason in December to say why the Lakers aren't necessarily, a bona fide contender, which, Rich Paul said on his inaugural podcast, but certainly he's not the only person that feels that way. You got it against the Spurs, who without Victor Wembanyama on Tuesday night, like really showed the Lakers' defensive weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of athleticism was certainly alarming. I would say the score of the game was probably not indicative because Marcus Smart went crazy and had, basically hit, I think, 8 or 9 threes and had 26, 27 points. This probably could have been a 30-point game here. The athleticism of the Spurs guards really had their way. There was a point in the game last night when I was sitting there watching, and if you were just solely looking at the box score, you would have thought the Lakers had their way in the paint because they were basically double the points. But then you look at the free throw disparity because San Antonio was attacking like crazy, whether it be Fox or Castle. They had just had waves of guys. It was almost like kind of a minor version of kind of what we've seen in Oklahoma City here. And the one thing that the Lakers don't have, they have a lot of guys that can get angles to the basket here. And they attacked, and they basically made the Lakers take DeAndre Ayton off the court and go LeBron at the 5 or Rui at the 5 and really go 3 guards with that group here. And it was a little bit alarming as far as what you saw last night with the Laker game.
Yeah, Vince, I think I'm just looking how many days the Spurs had to prepare. See, this is a thing about the NBA Cup. So they played on Monday. So actually they only had one day. I thought they maybe had a couple of days, but they certainly prepared a game plan that you're going to see. By the way, the Spurs are 17-7 too, and even though Victor wasn't ready to go, they are now 8-3 since Victor went down with that calf injury. And they were playing well. But you could tell that they were able to, Mitch Johnson, like fully baked in a game plan. They had something ready to go. And I think in addition to what we're going to learn about the Spurs, which I will talk about them in a second, this is what the Lakers have to think about as trade season sort of opens on Monday. There was a time this year where I'm not sure whether the Lakers could have looked at this team and said, yeah, we need to really try to do something to fix this roster if we're going to be contenders. But they're playing strong enough that they should consider it. And this just drove home that they really need probably some wing athleticism, wing defense. If they were entering in a playoff series with the Spurs, that would be something that would be pretty concerning.
I mean, not just the Spurs. Think about the problems you would have if you went in a series against the Phoenix Suns. Think about the problems you'd have if you went against the Houston Rockets or the Minnesota Timberwolves, who don't have a plethora of wings but have elite wings. Like, there's not, with the way that the Lakers roster is built, and it's no fault of anybody, it's just, manna falls from heaven when you get Luka Doncic. But when your 3 best perimeter players are all minus defenders on the ball, there's a lot of compensation you have to do by the way of team building. Like Austin Reeves tries. Like Stan Van Gundy made a point last night that in both points I thought were interesting, Wendy. He said, Luka Doncic is one of the 2 best offensive players in the history of the game. He just doesn't get back on defense. I want to stick a pin in that 2 best offensive players in the history of the game thing. But he was just saying he doesn't get back on defense. And then you got LeBron, who may not be able to get back on defense. He has
Right.
to pick and choose his spots.
Yeah.
It creates in a league that prioritizes speed. Like, this is the fastest paced NBA that we've ever seen. The one thing you cannot have is poor transition defenders and poor point of attack defenders. And that's exactly what the Lakers have. So it almost negates their strength. Like, to the point last night, Wendy, it looked like 3 or 4 different times the Spurs gained like a 20-point lead on the road without their best player.
Right.
And we don't consider the Spurs to be any level of serious contender this year. And yet
I'm
it
gonna be
seemed
honest
like
with
they
you, Vince,
handled the game with ease.
At the start, they dismantled the Suns. The Suns were obviously missing some guys. I missed this game, Bobby, because I was flying overseas. I didn't feel the need to go back and analyze it too much.
It happened quick. I mean, it was 7-2 to start, and then it got to 10, and then it just kept on snowballing from there. We said this on the show on NBA Today on Wednesday. It's just that for a team that's coming off an NBA championship, there's so much hunger there, right? It almost feels like they're playing with an edge. You felt like there was still another gear left with this group. It wasn't a clean 7-game series against Indiana. There's probably people whispering and saying, what would have happened if Halliburton had stayed healthy, right? But
yeah,
man,
I think there was a reasonable chance that the Pacers were winning that game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the Thunder, Vinny, the Thunder did not play well. It's lost to history, and maybe you never know. The Thunder did not play well in the second half of that game by their standards.
Yeah. But do they come at you in waves? Oh boy. If it's not, and Jalen Williams, you could see him starting to get his groove back out there. They've got no Hartenstein, but then you have AJ Mitchell coming off there's just so many different levels of guys here. We put up a stat on the show yesterday that, and we didn't do it to diminish Shea, but it just shows you the beauty of the roster. They're plus 19 when Shea's on the court and a plus 16 when he's off the court. When we
must
talked
not be
about
the MVP.
Yeah, we talked about Giannis a couple weeks ago when he got hurt and the differential when he's on the court and off the court. But I just think that shows you how they've built this roster. I was going to put up a graphic today, but I didn't want to look to be snobbish, where just to remind people of all these draft picks that are coming, right? Like that.
Well, it probably won't happen, but there's a scenario that the Thunder could have 3 lottery picks.
Yeah.
In this draft.
Yeah.
They have the Clippers pick unprotected. They'll get that no matter where it goes. The Jazz, I believe the Jazz will make sure that their pick doesn't convey, but if the pick is 9 or higher, the Jazz pick goes to the Thunder. And then what's the third one?
Sixers,
which the Sixers
top 4 protected.
The Sixers are probably going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Probably low teens.
There was a day a couple of weeks ago where the Sixers were struggling a little bit. And if you looked at if you had frozen the standings in that moment, the Sixers were the 14th pick.
Yeah.
So there would have been 3 lottery picks. But they're most likely getting that pick wherever it falls. And so
Adam Silver needs to come in and use his
authority,
commissioner powers in the best interest of the game, I believe is the term, and say that the Thunder Clippers trade is now fully adjudicated, and say that nothing is owed to anybody anymore. We are no more draft picks.
To wave the white flag.
Yeah, it's over. It's done. Like, the horse is beaten. Like, that's what it's
Mitch, wait till we get next year when they have to swap first.
This is what I'm saying. The commissioner needs to step in. At this point, Wendy, Oklahoma City's practices are harder than their games. When they practice against each other, when you do split squads and everything else, and Lou Dort is guarding Shea, Lou Dort is getting a bigger workout guarding Shea, and Shea is getting a bigger workout being defended by Lou Dort than anything that they are getting in actual game competition. Like, it is a joke.
Well, so this stat, last year they kind of started off a little sluggish. They started off 11-4. So over their last 82 games now, so the full season, They're 72-10, and their point differential in that is 14.5. They've averaged 14.5. So you go back and look at that Bulls team, or the 172, or you go back and look at the Warriors team that won 73, and they were not that good. So this would be the best differential in. Hold on one second. So, and Jackson gave me that stat. I feel like there was another stat in there, Jackson, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's oh, here it is. The 13th game this season when he sat out the entire fourth quarter. It's crazy. You mentioned the commissioner stepping in. This reminds me as a guy who grew up as a Cavs fan. In the 80s, the Stepien rule, which was
Oh yeah.
was after Ted Stepien, who kept trading away draft picks. What was it, Bobby? Like 4 or 5, 6 years in a row. When they sold the team, he sold the team and was bought by Gordon Gund. The only way Gordon Gund would buy the team was if he could get first round picks back. And David Stern at the time, worried that the Cavs were going to fold, actually gave the Cavs draft picks back. He didn't take the picks away from the teams they traded to, but he created extra first round picks. I think there was 1 or 2 that he gave back to the Cavs so that an owner would buy them, because somebody came in going, why do I want to buy this team? They're awful. They lose all this money and they don't have like their next 7 first round picks. The NBA is a little different than it was in the early 80s, but the commissioner does have power.
Is it? Are we sure? Because the Lakers, I remember, won the title in '82, and then they drafted James Worthy #1. And the Celtics had arguably one of the 3 to 5 greatest seasons in the history of basketball. I think they won 67 games. And then they came away with Len Bias, who wound up dying the next day. Like, it gets kind of morbid there. But the rich usually get richer in the NBA. It's your job to get rich. And it's your job to find the fool who will allow you to get rich. I think that's what this league has always been about. This whole thing about parity is a pipe dream. I'm going to try to have a, off the record, pull Adam Silver to the side conversation, move Grumpy Bass out of the way for a few seconds and tell Adam, enough with the parity. Nobody likes parity except for you and the owners who you were trying to buy franchises. The franchises have changed hands. There's been more franchises changing hands in the last 15 years than any point in NBA history. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody's moving. I mean, well, maybe someone's moving, right? But you don't have to sell this pipe dream anymore. Dynasties are good, per se. I don't want to spend my next 7 summers in Oklahoma City. I don't want to be eating Cattleman's every night, like trying to fight off weight gain. But this is kind of where we are at this point.
But don't we have parity for teams 2 to 30?
Yeah, I saw that last night.
You saw that last night?
Yeah, well, that's that's true. I mean, the thing about it is not attractive. Fans, especially fans who are just sort of loosely interested, love dynasties, and it creates good business for the NBA typically. But the casual fans don't make the rules. The owners make the rules, and the owners want to know that they have a chance. They don't. They like the idea of that. So, look, the second apron it has teeth and it affects everybody. And the Thunder now have 3 max players. They're not paying the max yet. This is sort of the last year where they, the thing is, Bobby, it's almost unheard of that a championship team returns everybody in its rotation. It just doesn't happen.
And especially that the 2 of their last draft picks are injured, or Topic is sick, but we haven't even seen those 2 either.
Right.
And they I mean, it is a rarity that you return every player.
Yeah. So next year is when the teeth come in, but like the Thunder will have some tough choices coming up, but because Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren are still on their rookie contracts, they've been able to roll this team right over. And so They're going to have some tough calls with Lou Dort and Isaiah Hartenstein. Like those are sort of the first two up, don't you think, Bobby? Like,
Yeah.
But they can bring this team back next year. Like I don't think they'll be starting to be stressed as long as they're okay with spending the money, which I think they will be. And right as are going to get super duper expensive, they're expected to get this new arena, which is they're in the process of building, which should add some revenue to them when they need it. So, do you know there's a plan in Oklahoma City to build the largest building in America in Oklahoma City? Did you know that?
No.
You're talking about Cattleman's, Vinny? Here's a question. Number one, they haven't broken ground on it yet, but taller than the World Trade Center, taller than what do they call the building in Chicago now? The Willis Tower?
Yeah, the tower.
Taller than that. It's going to be, it's not built yet, but they've announced it. So it's if I was like some sort of like poet or like really good writer, I could like make some sort of discussion about the building of the biggest building in Oklahoma City while these Thunder are being built too. Like this, the biggest building would not be in New York or Los Angeles or Chicago. It would be in Oklahoma City.
But why? What is the advantage of building the world's or the United States' biggest building and putting it in Oklahoma City? No disrespect to my friends in Oklahoma City.
That's a reasonable question. I don't know. I'm just telling you that I didn't make that up. That is a plan that they're going to do, and there's going to be like a hotel like in the middle of it, Vinny. So you can you can get gorgeous views of the heartland when you can stay